The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. These famous lines are from the best loved and best known poem Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening by Robert Frost. Frost was born in San Francisco, California on 26 March 1874. Robert Frost was a great poet by world standards. He was the voice of America. His realistic depiction of rural life, his seriousness and honesty in the poems, his skillful use of rhythms of actual speech, his epigrammatic style of writing, and his command of American colloquial speech used to give an unparalleled beauty and simplicity to his poems. To him, poetry was a clarification of life, and his poems were pieces of rich human experience. It is not difficult to understand why Frost is America's favorite poet. He wrote in colloquial words about the familiar and ordinary things. However, his simplicity is only on the surface. Frost's poems actually talk about ideas and thoughts that are deep and not ordinary. Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening is one of the widely anthologized poems of Frost. His poems talk about truth and they teach wisdom. Perhaps this is the reason why late Mr. Nehru, Prime Minister of India, was so moved by the last quatrain of the lyric Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening that he scribbled it on a paper and glued it to his writing desk. The poem presents conflicting musings of a man who is divided by his obligations and his deep longings for the restive beauty of nature. In poetry, themes are major ideas explored by the author through a poem's character, settings, and plot. In the poem Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening, the setting is pastoral, one which belongs to the world of nature. The theme of the poem is simple. It is the description of the scenes of the woods along with the mental and emotional setup of a narrator who stops there to behold the isolated beauty of the snow-laden woods. The theme of isolation is also pervading the poem. The poem begins with the poet standing in the woods. The poet halts between the woods and the frozen lake, where there is no farmhouse near, and now the narrator is confronted by the harness bell sound of the horse. The horse strikes the bell because he is uncertain. He strikes the bell, reminding the writer that this whole business of stopping by the woods makes no good sense. In the second stanza, the poet has skillfully used the horse as a foil. A foil is a character who contrasts with another character, usually the protagonist, to highlight qualities of the other character. By employing such techniques, the important character is revealed more fully. In the poem Stopping by Woods, the speaker is an idealist lost in the magnitude of nature, and the horse is a realist and prompts his rider to take a realistic course of action and not get lost in sentimental ruminations. The woods, which are lovely, dark and deep, powerfully impels the poet to stop his journey and immerse himself in the enjoyment of natural beauty. It is a dark and quiet evening. However, the poem ends with the narrator making a judicious choice and reminding himself that despite the loveliness of the view, he has to depart as he has many unfulfilled obligations and duties. He acknowledges the unparalleled mysterious beauty of the lovely, dark and deep woods, but at the same time, he becomes conscious that his time is short and the journey is long. The content of the poem is many-sided. Frost gives layers of meaning to the apparently simple stopping of a lone wagon rider by the woods. For example, the dark woods may symbolize the dark, impenetrable mystery of life, and snow, as usual, the destructive forces of death, and the journey may mean life's journey from birth to death. His epigrammatic summing up of deepest thoughts, dexterous use of iambic tetrameter with a rhyming scheme of AABA, BBC, B, CC, DC, DD, DD, and proper infusion of dramatic elements rightly prove that Frost's poetry begins in delight and ends in wisdom.